Dan is with us now, CEO of GM. Nice to see you, Dan.
Dan, congratulations. The first trade. I don't think we've seen it open up yet. A little crazy down here.
It is crazy. It's exciting.
What's your sense as you go here? Where are we looking at the open from what you've been told?
35, maybe 36, I don't know.
What would make you feel good today? I mean, everyone keeps saying, gosh, eventually you want a $53 per share to get taxpayers completely whole. What would make you feel good as it closed today?
Well, I don't think 53 is in the realm of reality, but if it closes up, I'll be happy.
And what about the retail share? Phil's talking about 20% of this going to retail. We've talked a lot about this being something that taxpayers bailed out GM. It should be something open to a lot of people. Yeah. Do you think you succeeded in making this an IPO that a lot of people could participate in?
Well, I think so, because as I mentioned before, the allocation to retail was double of any other large IPO in the history of the United States. And there are a lot of mutual funds that are buying into this. In fact, it's a marquee listing of mutual funds, Fidelity and others. So a lot of smaller investors will also participate by that mode.
Dan, on the roadshow, how soon did it hit you that the enthusiasm for this to be potentially oversubscribed was going to be as great as it was? Was it at the first one, or was it partially through the roadshow? When did it hit you?
About the second day, we had a lunch here in New York, and it was scheduled to be 250 people. There were well over 500.
There we go. The stock is opening up. What are we looking at here?
35 and change, it looks like. Just north of 35. 35 even.
35 even. You'll take 35 even.
I'll take 35. That's great. It's great for us, great for America. It really just been an exciting day for us.
I interrupted you, or actually the trade opening interrupted you. You noticed the enthusiasm at that lunch here in New York. What happened that really it clicked and you said something big is going to happen here?
Well, as I said, we were expecting on the order of 200, 250 people, and there were 550. I mean, we had to make room, add additional meals, and you could feel it was palpable. People were really interested in the story.
You have 485 or 78 million shares trading. Was there ever any discussion, raise it even more? Let's put even more out there, or did you feel like this is about as much as you want to put out on the market right now?
Well, again, this is a combination of several different parties sitting around the table, and obviously the major four shareholders, the government of the United States, Canada, and the Viva Trust were the primary influencers of, and we were trying to match supply and demand, and it's, as I said, it's an art as much as a science.
And who are the secondary buyers here? You know, we had expected to hear maybe some of the big sovereign wealth funds from very wealthy countries like Abu Dhabi or UAE, Kuwait involved. Was there a reason that we didn't see any of those guys as big players here? Was it maybe politically something you didn't want to do to have foreign sovereign wealth funds involved?
No, there's the sovereign wealth funds, as I understand it, at least in the initial allocation, was single digit, less than 5%. 90% of the shares at the outset are going to be held by North Americans, largely U.S. citizens, and I think that's great. I think that's great.
It's great, and it's great for taxpayers because U.S. taxpayers took on the risk, but in terms of your business, China's an even bigger market, so it would seem over time that for this to work, you'd want the majority of your shareholders to be overseas.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I think fundamentally, the United States, North America is a very important market to us. In some sense, all successful large multinational corporations have to be successful in every basin and every region of the world. We think China is a great market. We have a great partner there we've had a long-standing relationship with. So yeah, China's important. Latin America's important. Europe's important. And even though we're having some trouble in Europe, and we hope to address that over the near term, every region in this planet is important to General Motors.
So I'm just curious, a personal question. What do you drive?
I drive a Volt, which is the car of the year by Motor Trend, and my wife drives an SRX Cadillac.
Dan, when General Motors went bankrupt and the White House stepped in and they said, listen, we got to have new leadership here, we got to restructure this company. The White House was very active. Have you talked to the president, let's say within the last 6 months? At any point, have you talked with him and he said, how are things going at General Motors, or has it strictly been through the Auto Task Force?
No, I've not spoken with the president.
So it's just been through the Auto Task Force that you guys have communicated with the Treasury Department and the government?
In the process of re-entering the public markets on occasion, I've spoken with the Secretary of the Treasury.
And any message that usually is delivered, or is it more just a status update usually?
He gave a call to me last night. It was very kind of him, and he congratulated us on the effort and thanked me and the team and the company for our efforts. And was a very gracious and much appreciated call.
And now the road show is over. You guys are going back to Detroit, and you're going to talk to the employees there.
Yes, we are, and hopefully get back to work tomorrow.
One number I wanted to ask you about. This came up on Morning Joe on MSNBC, and I wanted to get your take on it. They said, look, there's the number Phil shared, 500,000+ retirees, fewer than 100,000 current workers. You don't have to be a math whiz to realize that's a really tough ratio to sustain. Are you confident you're going to do it?
Sustain our
to be able to pay all the promises that have been made pension-wise, healthcare-wise to those retirees with so few workers.
I think we can, yes. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that.
How do you eventually take care of that pension debt? Do you annuitize it? What's the way of taking care of it?
Well, there are a couple of ways you can take care of it. You've got discount rate, contributions, and return on assets. I believe it's the largest private pension fund in the world. Our returns have been actually pretty good this year. We're going to contribute a total of $6 billion as a result of this IPO and the restructuring to buy it down.
Those are the preferred shares and the proceeds from that going towards that $6 billion.
No, that's $2 billion worth of common and $4 billion worth of cash.
Okay.
We've already committed to that. That gets us down to about a $13 billion pension fund liability. And over the next couple of years, it's our intention to get it to zero. And that's going to be a hopefully we'll continue to get above market returns. And if we don't, ultimately we're going to have to contribute more, and that's our plan over the intermediate to long term.
Aaron?
And I just want to give you an update on your price. You're $35.70, so it looks like they opened it pretty much spot on to where the value is. If you get something like that where you had a pop at the open, but then that's it, still successful?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, we priced it about right, and now we have to go to work and hopefully improve profitability, and we can increase value.
What have you heard from, I know you and Phil were talking about your conversations with the U.S. government, but what have you heard from people in Treasury, including Ron Bloom, who's been obviously spearheading this, in terms of Treasury's plans to sell more, that big, nearly 40% stake still that taxpayers have?
We haven't had any discussions, and quite frankly, that's their call.
Well, as you guys get ready to go, Aaron, I know we're going to be interested in seeing what the volume is today. Are you a little bit worried that there's that flip discussion that's out there, that people are going to say, I'm going to take some money here while I can and flip it, and perhaps we see this stock pull back a bit?
Well, I'm always worried about everything, Phil. But I think the market dynamics, we were almost 7 times oversubscribed. So my sense is there are a lot of people that would like to own the stock. And we'll see how the market plays out today. There's a little bit of wind at our backs. I think the market opened up. That's good. But, you can't declare victory in one day in the market. It's got to be over the long term, and that's the way we're playing this game.
GM CEO Dan Akerson on a big day after making the first trade, gracious enough to talk with us here first on CNBC.
Nice to meet you, Dan, in person, and thanks for coming.